Every region around the world has its own serial killer. Bangladesh is not different, but the story of this killer definitely is. Welcome to Bangladesh, where there is no shortage of exciting new views and memories to make. Bangladesh from the outskirts would seem like a very interesting place to visit. Only unless you are a woman. As a matter of fact, it's actually downright dangerous for women who live there. As women, you are not looked at as equal, but instead as property, or even as toys. This ideology has led to an epidemic of rape and murder towards women at the moment. On October 1, 2020, Ano Salish Kendra, a Bangladesh-based human rights organization, revealed that from January to September of this year, men raped more than 1,000 women. 43 of those women died from the brutal gang rapes, and more than 200 others evaded their rape attempts. This is where Hercules was born, and where his name would become a household warning to others, especially those who wish to do harm to women in Bangladesh. Vigilante or serial killer. Overall, this man might have been doing the world a favor. This killer does not prey upon the innocent but tracks down and delivers civil justice to those stalking young and underpowered women. He is looked at as a hero to some, and a villain to others. He put justice into his own hands, and murdered multiple men, who were all accused of rape and murder. As the reports of rape by women can go uninvestigated for years, or never prosecuted at all. In Bangladesh, women are not treated as equals to men. They actually have a lower status altogether, and live under the shadow of their man for the most part. Hercules has taken it upon himself to ensure these women and others like them do not have to live in fear. Is Hercules what Bangladesh needs to ensure these and multiple abused women now have a voice? His actions have definitely made an impact on the community. And possibly is deterring abuse and harm to women. Today we are digging into the case of the vigilante, or villain. This is the curious case of Hercules.
Before diving into this further, you are tuning into Coffee with History. If solved, unsolved, heroic, or just plain mysterious is your thing, make sure to join us as we go back in time and discover the past. On this channel we will post about anything we find notable. We are always up for suggestions, just drop them in the comments. For a chance to be featured in future videos if we end up covering your subject. Without further ado, this is today's harrowing tale.
Hercules, the vigilante or serial killer. On February 1st, in the silent district of Rajapur, a sub-district of Jalakathy, Bangladesh, the police were informed of a body found in the nearby dump yard. The body, as it was reported, had sustained severe punctures to the skull, identified as bullet wounds. The police recovered the body momentarily, only to discover a note hung on the deceased's neck. It was to be the start of a manhunting rampage that a serial killer, who identified himself as Hercules, had begun. The content of the note, undersigned by Hercules, caught the attention of global press and media. I am Rakib. I am the rapist of a madrasa girl of Pandaria. This is the punishment for the rape. Be wary rapists, Hercules. The case took a curious turn when the Bangladeshi police identified the madrasa girl and discovered her horrifying incident just a month earlier. On January 14th, the same madrasa girl was raped by two men while on her way to visit her grandmother. The said crime occurred in the Pandaria area itself, falling in the district of Piraja. On January 17th, the victim's father had reported the incident to the local police, who later on identified two men as the probable suspects, Rakib and Sujal. And not long after the report to the police went out, the body of Rakib would be found with an extremely similar note as the first victim. It was with this incident that Hercules, who by now was being hailed as a vigilante by the locals, took to the national limelight. Curiously, however, the incident was nowhere near being a one-off incident. As it turned out, the local police had found similar cases over the past 2 weeks. On January 7th, a week before the madrasa girls incident, a tragic incident involving an 18-year-old girl, who was a factory worker from the district of Ashulia, was found dead in her house, merely hours after reporting her rape to the local police station. The identified suspect in this case, as per the local police records, was a man identified as Ripon. Hercules, the serial killer, had found his target in Ripon. As not only was Ripon a rapist, but he also was a killer of women. And due to the lack of police interest in this girl's death, Hercules decided to deliver justice upon him on January 17th. Of course, a marked note was found on Ripon's neck too. "I am Ripon, I am a rapist. This is my punishment for rape and murder. Be careful. Be careful, I am Hercules, and I will find you." In a separate incident, the police identified the body of Sujal, who was the other accused suspect in the attack of the madrasa girl. He was beaten with a blunt object. Police suspect it was the back end of Hercules' pistol. Sujal was also shot multiple times in the head. There was also a note found there as well, giving out the warning to the rapists existing in the region. "I am Sujal. I am a rapist. This is a punishment for my heinous crime. Beware, rapists. Beware, I am Hercules. I am always watching." The only suspects the Bangladesh police have to follow up on is the Raqib family's eyewitness accounts, claiming they have seen their sons talking to what appeared to be a plain-clothed police officer, and that Raqib was picked up while having tea with a friend. It was after a few days of Raqib never returning home that his family reported the missing man to police. This is only speculation at this point, but Raqib's family truly believes the police are behind Raqib's death. Similar to the Raqib case, on January 11th, Ripon's wife reported that her husband was picked up by two plain-clothed people, claiming to be detectives, needing him to answer some questions. Only 6 days later he was found dead with the ominous note from Hercules attached to his chest. Of course, the police admit that they have no involvement in the murders and vow to bring Hercules to justice. As bodies pile up week after week though, the National Police Force initiated a nationwide hunt to track down Hercules. Although his vigilantism has been appreciated and widely celebrated, Hercules remains a person operating outside the purview of law and order structure. Mujahidul Islam, the officer in charge of the Hercules case, said that the police have begun investigations starting from the point of the first incidents, but right now are clueless as to the identity. On the other hand, human rights activists across the nation condemned the actions of divergent justification delivered by Hercules. Speaking to the national press, the human rights group, ANO Salish's executive head Sheepa Hafiz warned of unwarranted vigilantism in the region. The consensus of the activists was that the murders and the notes would only perpetuate and spawn several more vigilantes which would challenge the establishments and social constructs. Hafiz advised the public and judiciary to proceed with caution, the Daily Star reported. "We have to look very carefully into why such incidents are taking place." The locals, however, hailed Hercules as someone who can actually deliver instant justice to the crimes which take decades to be solved. Incidentally, all the murders and rapes that took place have been reported at the local police stations, but no action had been taken on them. Perhaps, that is what concerns the public, who direct their frustration and anger towards a non-working judiciary and place their hopes in a vigilante. In his doings, the ends perhaps justify the means. And therefore, for what it's worth, Hercules is needed. Not just to force a change, but to remind others that by doing something outside the system, Hercules in some ways is defining the loopholes of a redundant system, and hopefully inflicting a much-needed restructuring. Thus, the hunt of Hercules continues. Thank you for tuning in to Coffee with History. Since you made it this far, hit that like and subscribe button for multiple uploads weekly. Now check out one of our other videos of Active Serial Killers 2022. Just hit one of the links above.